because the Punisher is kind of tired. Very tired. Coming soon, very soon, more heads are rolling. I'm not going to say a whole lot tonight because we just need to relish in the fact that things have been happening.
Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email system during her time as Secretary of State.
News of a San Antonio A&M professor allegedly being stalked is making its way around campus.
After a tremendous amount of work over the last year, the FBI is completing its investigation and referring the matter to the Department of Justice for a prosecutive decision.
We believe all of them, parents, coaches, and facilitators, lied, cheated, and covered up their crimes at the expense of hardworking students and taxpayers everywhere. Our investigation began last May after we uncovered evidence of a large-scale, elaborate fraud while working an unrelated undercover operation.
What I want to do today is three things. I want to tell you what we did, I want to tell you what we found, and I want to tell you what we're recommending to the Department of Justice.
University released this statement in which campus police called the incident isolated and say the campus is secure at this time.
This is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways. First, I'm going to include more detail about our process than I ordinarily would, because I think the American people deserve those details in a case of intense public interest.
The intensification of that awakening is now accelerating to warp speed. The globalists have been caught lying and dissembling and manipulating, and instead of backing off, they have intensified their lies to create an entire false universe and false reality in which they intend to try to keep us under their control.
And second, I have not coordinated this statement or reviewed it in any way with the Department of Justice or any other part of the government. They do not know what I'm about to say. But I want to start by thanking the FBI employees who did remarkable work in this case. Once you have a better sense of how much we have done, you will understand why I am so grateful and so proud of their work. So first, what we have done.
And again, the very latest we know is that DeSoto's bond has been set at $15,000.
This investigation began as a referral from the Intelligence Community Inspector General in connection with Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email server during her time as Secretary of State.
Soto sent her stacks of emails that he called a manifesto.
The referral focused on whether classified information was transmitted on that personal system. Our investigation looked at whether there is evidence that classified information was improperly stored or transmitted on that personal system in violation of a federal statute that makes it a felony to mishandle classified information, either intentionally or in a grossly negligent way.
Say it.
Juan Soto tested positive for COVID-19, player on the Nationals. Are you concerned about sports getting back too soon?
No, not at all. They'll be able to take care of it. They're going to be able to take care of it. Thank you very much.
Or a second statute making it a misdemeanor to knowingly remove classified information from appropriate systems or storage facilities. And consistent with our counterintelligence responsibilities, we have also investigated to determine if there is evidence of computer intrusion by nation states or by hostile actors of any kind.
What is a person? A person is what is called a juridical personality, which means a fiction in law. The franchise that I described is a person.
They gave their heart. At the wild card game, it's such an incredible story. At the wild card game, you were down by 2 runs in the 8th. With bases loaded and 2 outs, that's when breakout star Juan Soto. Where's Juan? Where's come here, Juan. Come.
Again, the very latest we know is that Soto's bond has been set at $15,000, and he's still in the process of getting bonded out right now. This is a developing story. We'll bring you the very latest as we get the information. Reporting live tonight from downtown, Camilla Rambaldi, News.
Thoughts and reflections regarding the state of Texas versus Juan Soto Jr. with consideration of the Texas Constitution and its Bill of Rights. A petition by a judge.
It was in the public news. It was you may have heard of it, the Mueller investigation. It was a $32 million investigation that went over a couple of years. Horowitz was an investigator general, and he looked at the FBI's activity in the beginning of this. And what the FBI concluded was that there were FBI agents throughout this period of time who concluded that, yes, the dossier was...
Dossier. A collection of papers and/or other sources, containing detailed information about a particular person or subject, together with a synopsis of their content.
You get this dossier, which...
And the FBI cyber analyst statement at the trial, because what Scott Hellman, and he is the FBI cyber analyst, testified was just as you just said. He knew right away that the data did not suggest any covert communications between Trump and Russia. He added that he wondered if the person who put together the data was suffering from a mental disability. So talk about the FBI for a moment.
You get this dossier, which, whether you admit it or not, was the basis for all the FISA warrants.
He called the disease drapetomania, a disorder which causes slaves to run away. According to Dr. Cartwright, black slaves should be treated like children with care, kindness, attention, and humanity to prevent and cure them from running away. However, if any are inclined to raise their heads to a level with their master or overseer, humanity and their own good require that they should be punished until they fall into that submissive state, which is what was intended for them to occupy.
Rights of accused in criminal prosecutions shall have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor. Freedom and sovereignty of the state, subject only to the Constitution of the United States and the maintenance of our free institutions, and the perpetuity of the Union depend upon the preservation of the right of local self-government, unimpaired to all the states. I will elaborate by the light of the United States Constitution.
Freedom had been hunted round the globe. Reason was considered as rebellion, and the slavery of fear had made men afraid to think. But such is the irresistible nature of truth that all it asks and all it wants is the liberty of appearing. The sun needs no inscription to distinguish him from darkness, and no sooner did the American governments display themselves to the world than despotism felt a shock and man began to contemplate redress.
FISA story in the fall, that's just the spring and summer of 2016.
And, you know, she was in a lot of trouble, if you remember then, for her private server where she was deciding which emails to delete.